Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we're reviewing one of I believe this is the only Christmas album I've formally listened to, Sting's If on a Winter's Night, released in 2009. It's okay for a Christmas album, but really nothing spectacular, and although I haven't really officially listened to them, I'm sure there are better Christmas albums than this one. This is the track listing. Most of the Christmas songs here are traditional and more classical pieces, as opposed to sort of modern pop rock Christmas songs. As a result, so this album is kind of timeless, but not in a good way. It's not timeless because it's really good. It's timeless because the songs are old, which isn't always so great. These are the tracks I added to my playlist. Only 4 out of the 15 here. Um, and honestly, I mean, this album isn't really bad in any way. It's just not got a lot going on other than the few interesting tracks which I've mentioned here. This album is kind of like a Christmas version of Sting's next album, The Last Ship, which isn't bad either, but it also kind of has the same problem. It doesn't have a lot going on. Um, Ultimately, this album isn't a bad listen, but you gotta know what you're getting into if you're gonna listen to it because it's basically classical Christmas music with modern instruments and some modern-esque lyrics. So it's not anything real amazing. There were no singles off this album, and my favorite song here is probably gotta go with Soul Cake. It's the most upbeat on the album and the most interesting, in my opinion, mostly because it's kind of a traditional carol that isn't super. It's not actually always related to Christmas, so it isn't super popular as a Christmas carol, and it's redone here to make it more sort of full as a full song. So it is quite good. It's actually one of the few songs of the album which I'm like, yeah, this song is good. And I rank this album second to last out of all of Sting's albums. But really, that's just because it's a Christmas album. So it's generally, I mean, Christmas albums are generally going to have less flow to them and be less interesting because you kind of have a good idea of what songs are coming and you know some of the songs. So it's not as interesting as an original uh, an original album. So even sort of his worst original albums, in my opinion, Nothing Like the Sun and the Dream of the Blue Turtles, are slightly better than um, this album. Although, I mean, it's hard to judge a Christmas album compared to normal ones. So this is not entirely accurate, I guess. Additionally, this album doesn't take my top spot from 2009. That goes to Save Me San Francisco, which is a much, much better album just in terms of quality. And it's also, I'm not really likely to put a Christmas album as my favorite from a year unless the other, like, the Christmas album would have to be pretty good and the other albums in the year would have to be bad. So, especially not in 2009 because Save Me San Francisco is just a really good album. Next up, I'm going to be listening to another Christmas album. This one I haven't listened to before. This time from Train. In 2015, they released a Christmas album called Christmas in Tahoe, which I think is supposed to be sort of tropical themed. I don't know. I looked at the track listing though, and it's still mostly like normal Christmas songs. So I'll be listening to that too in order to help complete their discography that I'm listening to. So, Merry Christmas, and as always, stay minty.